Hello, ahoy, how are you guys? Welcome to Sunday Shogi, or Shogi Sunday, whichever is fine. Hi Mofugai, hi Nibi, hi Abigail. So we're gonna show you an example of game where I'm actually giving a handicap. So I will be playing without one piece, which is the rook. And because of that I will have the first move. So it's a special type of game where stronger player can teach weaker player. In chess it would be hard to play without a queen, right? But in Shogi it's totally possible. Because since we take the piece, it means I can trick him into giving me a free piece at some point and level up the disadvantage. So he moved his king here and he moved his general up. We don't have the castling as in chess. We are forced to do it move by move, and he made a right Mino castle. So now we do not have the same rule of center because of the possibility of piece drop. The more pieces you move in the center, then the more space you will have for the drops. So we usually put the rook, the attacking side, on one side, in this case here, and then the defending side on the other, because if you attack from this side, it means you create space for the drops. So you want to keep this side as much untouched as possible. I think it's the same with castling in chess. You put the king in castling and then you don't push the pawns, right? Something like this, but in shogi, basically the consequences are much more painful with the drops. So I'm trying to block his bishop line, because again, if I allow him to exchange pieces, I, without the rook, won't be able to do anything about it. And I'm gonna see how he comes to attack me. I also made some form of castle, it's not a real castle. Because I don't have a rook, which means I have to try to gain some control on the other side of the board without the rook and then counter. This is like a specific type of game where I'm like trying to gain a little bit of pressure on this 7 and 6 line, because to compensate the fact that I don't have a rook. It's a very specific game. So he's coming here to attack my weakness with this rook here, so I will try to defend it. On the minuses, I went much deeper onto the right side, which I don't really like because I moved my king away from my pieces on the left, but it's necessary in this situation. And yeah, basically if back rank plays this properly, I have no right to win this, because this is how handicap works. He tried to like put a pressure. If my bishop moved, he would be able to promote. If he is able to promote, it's basically over. So here I get a lance, because he opened this diagonal. I promoted my bishop by entering his promotion zone, and it became a horse. So now it's a bishop and king in one, kinda. I could take the knight again, because now it moves sideways, okay? Let me show you by like this. So I took another piece. So I didn't have a rook, now I have two small pieces in exchange, but still his advantage is huge. What is better, rook or bishop? Rook. In opening we say bishop is better, after that the rook is better. Usually rook is better because it's easier to use in the attack. Generally you don't want to give away the rook for pawns. You want to give it for two generals, and the bishop you can exchange for one general and one light piece, so one knight or one lance. So generally the bishop is less valuable than the rook. So I'm trying to make a check on this king from far away. By sacrificing the pawn, I make up space. So it's kind of weird, because in shogi you give away those pieces very easily. We sacrifice a lot, so I make a space and I'm gonna attack. Okay. He also gives away the pawns. In shogi we give away those pawns, nobody cares, kinda. Because when you take a pawn, you get one back, you can drop it immediately. So I can give him a check with the knight and any point. The problem is I have only lance, so I have no follow-up. So I'm gonna be a little bit more patient about it. The time setting we are playing is called 30 seconds BRME. It means on every move we will have 30 seconds. Yes, I can drop the pawn in the promoted area, but the thing is, if I drop the pawn, I have to move it again in order to make a promoted pawn. So it would require me to move it again. So instead of making a drop promote, which is a very good move, don't get me wrong, I wanna attack the king here for now. If you can check him and he doesn't see it, can you capture? Yes, in this server you can actually make the illegal move. On other servers they not allow you to do that, but here. So for example, he dropped the pawn in my promotion zone, you see? It cannot be promoted immediately. It is usually a good idea to like sacrifice, drop in the promotion zone and then make a token. It kinda speeds up your pawn in a way. So here, because I'm afraid of his token, I'm gonna take it. Oh yeah, token is how we call the promoted pawn basically. So he's going for crazy exchanges here. I could take it, but then he can take this, and he can promote the rook. So it seems like he gives away a lot of material, but actually he promotes the rook, which is very scary. So I might prefer to like block it. And I drop my pawn here. Yeah, shogi pawns are weaker, but it's also easier to throw them away, kinda. Token moves like a promote, like the gold, like this guy here. Like a king, apart from diagonally backward. So I have two options. I could take it and exchange the silver for gold. The silver is a little bit weaker, but since his silver is under attack, I might be eager to like keep it this way. Keep him struggling. Because shogi is an evil game, you make your opponent struggle. The minus is he got this pawn that's affecting my king, so he might be able to do moves like this. Trying to pressure. He sacrificed his bishop for a silver? In order to continue attacking. Because he feels he's in disadvantage, so he's pressuring me. Yeah, the silver is trapped in a scissor shape, we call it. Because the silver can only move diagonally backwards, it's sometimes easy to trap him by putting him between two pawns, like in this case. One pawn here, one pawn here. So I'm gonna run away, because now two of his pieces are under attack. If I take it, promote, king takes, he will be able to take this pawn. And I won't be able to stop it, so I'm gonna leave it this way. So now I can either take the silver or the rook is more valuable, but I have to also consider his counter attacks. So silver promotion I would be more scared, because pawn promotion follow-up would mean trouble. I'm gonna take the rook. His king is relatively safe. Even though I have the rook, I have the bishop, I have no way of checking his king. So this is also another characteristic of shogi. You need to have those attacking spots before it's too late, because your opponent will throw everything at you and you need to have some form of counter. So here either we can take it or we can take the silver. I'm not sure what is better. Either way it's gonna be silver gold exchange. I'm gonna take it here actually. Now I understand why it's hard for computers to apply this game. Actually computers are pretty smart, but it kinda explains why is it much longer than chess in a way, right? So he's attacking my silver with his gold. I will drop a silver in order to protect it again. So I'm using the pieces in my hand, and drop it on the board to keep the number of defenders the same. He promoted his pawn, which is very, very scary right now. He threatens checkmate in 1. So I will start escaping up. So in shogi it's usually the pattern that you throw away many pieces and then you end up surrounding the king and checkmating him with like minimal amount of pieces. Like here he was threatening checkmate using 3 pieces. So he doesn't need that rook, he doesn't need that bishop. All he needs is the active position. The three tense nasty things like this one. So I would like to attack, I'm just not sure if it's better to defend one more move or continue. Let's defend one more move. Yeah. So I'm attacking his gold right now, because the gold's weakness is diagonally backward. So I'm attacking it from behind. Yeah, also in shogi escaping upward is the idea. So now my king is moving as far as possible from those 2 pieces. And because they are not as strong as bishop and rook and queen in chess, you can feel how slow they are. You can also feel how safe my king is, right? Also, his king is quite safe still, so he took the lance. And finally, we have this one moment of breath to start activating our horse. Although he just got the lance, so he might drop it. I'm not sure if it was the smartest idea from me. Here, okay. So I can check his king and again make some space for my king to escape upward here. You see the ocean, we call it ocean. Just run, 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 run. I'm checking his king right now with my horse. Powerful promoted bishop. Do you have to remember what opponent has captured? No, no. The pieces he captured are here. The pieces we have are here. So next to the board, on his right side, will be his pieces in hand. So here you can see he resigned. Because he cannot really block this. Cannot really block this attack. I misclicked silver move upward. Oh. Which silver? Oh, the silver. Actually, I found it really, really tricky. Really nice. I think I took the pawn. My other option was to go here immediately. So, yeah, you went here, right? It wasn't too bad, actually. I think you wanted to go here. Right? Yeah, so you managed to... unfortunately, by... I would play one more move to preparation, maybe knight. Blocking the ability of me taking the lance, because next, if you move the silver, the bishop is protecting the knight. But again, if you go for an exchange here, bishop takes... I mean, at that moment I can take the knight, so maybe you have to move the rook again before that. It's very complicated here. Maybe you could sacrifice this pawn first, I'm not sure. I was expecting you to go here, here, and then pressure my king's head, like this. Thank you, Backrank, it was a really nice game, and I hope that people who didn't know how to play shogi until this moment, they could see how the dynamics work.